Hey everybody, how's everybody doing? Happy Friday. And of course, I am always joined here by our beautiful masters, which we have Nancy Diaz, Sharon Rose Master. We got Susana Perez, Sales Master. And we are also joined today. We have a special guest today. We have Sales Master Jubitza Reyes with us. So welcome. How are you guys? How's everybody doing?
Great.
Awesome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
Yes, we're excited.
So what's new? It's today happens to be Friday, so happy Friday to everybody.
Happy Friday.
How's business been? What's new? How's life? Anything new in life? Anything new in business? I mean, tell us what's going on.
Just people getting ready for the holidays, so ready to overcome those excuses that they don't have time, and they have parties going on, so just trying to get ready for that.
Have you done your holiday shopping yet? Who's done their holiday shopping?
Not yet.
No, nothing.
There's barely any time. There's new things every day in Atomy. There's new things in life. Actually, it's life-wise. There's something new every day. So we gotta make time to go shopping.
Yeah. I'm planning to give my shopping is Atomy, so
it's online.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Give out a lot of product. That's my gift. A lot of Atomy products.
I was gonna say everybody shopping here better be Atomy, right?
Yeah,
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, like what I was gonna say is like shopping out there is not my priority right now.
Yeah,
like it's
I know.
not. It's actually
Crowded.
teaching.
But still,
Yeah,
you have to
teaching
make time
people
to
that
sit down.
they need to buy their own stuff.
Yes.
Buy within. Buy in your own Atomy shop or whatever. But so that you could make your own business grow. You could teach your members how to grow it, and same thing. Just do that.
Especially with our Asa Mall, we have many products that we have not yet. That's personally, I have not been able to sit down and make that purchase online from the Asa Mall. Of course, I have tons of products in my home, so it's daily use products. That's no problem for me. But I want to make a time to sit down and get to make my first purchase from my Asa Mall. I want to try all of those different brand new products for us that it's available to the US. So that's a challenge for me right now.
Any chance, guys? I'm gonna have to get the battery of my computer. I didn't realize I'm low battery.
Oh,
Go ahead.
It happens. No, what I was noticing is that just because of last year, what happened with the pandemic and everything, everybody is shopping online.
yes.
People are not really storming the malls. They're even doing, they're even doing Black Fridays since from now.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but they're saying that because of supply chain, issues and problems, right? They're telling people start ordering your Christmas gifts as of now because shipping's delaying, processing is delaying. And so I feel like every day that we go through, that we have, we just become more and more consumed in internet. And I think that not only that it's the convenience factor, right? It's like, you don't have to leave, it gets delivered to your door. And I think that it's so heavy right now, but it's going to be even heavier in the future. I really think there's going to be a time when we're really not going to have the need for retail stores. You're not going to have to walk into a store. And we're seeing that now. I mean, a lot of companies going bankrupt, Neiman Marcus filed for bankruptcy, not long ago. And we're just seeing the impact that it's having on retail. And on one additional note on that, which I was sharing with you guys earlier, is, I was super surprised when I went to Seattle. Seattle has an Amazon Go store. And so all you do is when you walk into that store, you scan your phone, right? If you have an Amazon account, and you walk in. There's no cashiers, there's no staff. You walk in, you grab whatever you want in the store, anything you want. and you walk out with it. And the crazy thing is that I was like, okay, so I tried to be slick, right? I'm gonna see, let's see how good the technology is. And I'd grab something, walk around the store, go back, put it down, go grab something else, try to do it a little bit hidden. See, as soon as you walk out the store, it's not even, I want to say 30 seconds. You check your Amazon account and you've been charged for every item that you took from the store, right? And this is stuff that we're living like now, right? So technology keeps growing, it keeps growing exponentially as time goes on. So just imagine 5 years from now, right? Just 5 years from now, what's the world going to look like? And I'm sure you guys have seen, technology advancing in just sort of
Sam's. Have you guys purchased in Sam's Club? Here in Houston, we still have a lot of Sam's Club. It's amazing. I didn't know I had new generation is teaching you how to use all these little things. So I went with my little nephew. I went with my nephew to Sam's Club, and he said, do you have an app? Like, oh, I have my app. Do you pay your bills online? Yes. Okay. Do you have the Sam's app? And like, yes. It's like, yeah. Well, we don't have to go in. Did you know that you don't have to stay online? You just purchase, you scan the product, you put it in your basket, you scan your product, you put it in your basket, and then I have my credit card added to that app. So Sam's credit card. So at the end it tells you, checkout. So I do checkout, and all my product is already in the basket. I just press checkout, and I don't have to make a line. And there's just a little line that says scan and go. That's how it is. That's what it's called, scan and go. And I just go through it, and they give you a barcode, and then they just at the
register.
When you walk out,
when you go out, you know how they're checking the receipt.
Okay.
They just scan the barcode, and that's it. I'm out. So for me, that was like, wow, look how technology is going.
And it's funny because what really triggered sort of that topic is, and I'm gonna share my screen with you guys here, because it was an article that I came across and I thought was super interesting because it's an article that CBC came out with, and it's Elon Musk's take on the future. Now, the one thing I will give Elon is he's definitely very focused on future, and he's been doing a lot and reaching a lot of goals. But here's the big thing. So just to summarize it, right? But the big thing from this article is that basically AI, artificial intelligence, is going to make almost every job pointless, because there's going to be some sort of a robot or a computer system that's going to be able to do that. And we're starting to see very minor things already in place. But the interesting thing is that he said a lot of jobs are going to slowly start to disappear because of the advancement of AI, robotics. And I was looking at certain articles, and for example, like certain videos, like what Susana would send over about distribution centers that are fully robotic, fully robot centric. There's no human that are doing the orders. And I saw that article. That was 2018. That was 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
So you look at the
amazing.
And the interesting thing that it says in that article that Elon Musk mentioned is that he feels that the future of jobs because of AI is either one, you're going to have to be very tech centric and be a programmer, or human centered jobs, because there's going to be so much non-connection, because everything's going to be robotic and digitized and streamlined, that what's going to be attractive is human interaction, right? Anything that does have that human involvement. So what do you guys feel about where Atomy is from a technology standpoint, and what we're seeing right now, and what people should be doing, or why they should even consider this business, right? With what we know is coming.
Well, when I started the business, when not even started the business, because I was a consumer first, but when I started like listening to the people that were doing Atomy, and Dr. Herrera was one of the first ones that he talked about this. He's like, you have to get ready, because jobs are going to be obsolete. jobs are going to be obsolete. And then you think about it, because you kind of just hear people and you think they're just kind of like telling you so you could join and you could start doing something. But no, it's something that it's real, that it's happening. And I started noticing that what he was saying was true when the supermarkets and the pharmacies and all those places like CVS, Target, and all those, they started putting those checkout lines, like the self checkout, and that you could just go. And then the market that I used to go to is a Hispanic market. They have nine registers, like 9 registers, and then they open 6 self checkouts. If I'm like, any day of the week, if I go, there's only one checkout open. That means that there's only one cashier.
Yeah.
Cashiers are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
definitely. I started seeing all this going on. Probably I want to say my third anniversary in Atomy will be February. So 2-3 years before that, I started seeing it. And because one of the business that I was building before, it was about that. It was about changing your lifestyle. Either you grow with what coming out with the technology, either you get into the movement, or you stay behind and then you stay just unfocused and helpless. Definitely.
Yeah.
So I was learning through this other company that you have to have your business online or you will disappear. Definitely. So I started seeing that particular thing. No registers open, barely one open, and banks.
the banks.
There
That's what I was
was a
gonna say.
bank. There's a bank to one of the stores that I used to go a lot, and I started noticing they were changing everything.
I don't
They
even
were
go to the banks anymore.
remodel. I don't go anymore
I don't go.
because of the same reason. I mean, if you don't go if you don't go into the movement and you flow with it, you still behind. You stay behind, and then you have a lot more problems afterwards. So I started seeing these problems in the banks. They were remodeling, and guess what? My one number alert was there will be no more employments. So Atomy is our number one savior. Why? Number one, because you're not forced to have auto shipments. I mean, there's so much that Atomy is offering, and many people that are losing their jobs because they'd rather have a robot, they rather have a computer taking your orders at restaurants as well, at banks, having your transactions done online through a computer at the banks. I mean, they're not even tellers anymore the banks. And I mean, that was the number one issue to me. And I taught myself, okay, I have to get into this movement or I will be stayed behind, and it's going to be worse for me because kids are going into it, they're flowing, they're growing, and this is their lifestyle. This is no changes for them. This is all not new. This is what they're growing with, not with me. I have to
The norm. It's the norm.
I have to make changes on my own habits to be in the movement, to communicate with them, understand what they're going through and what they're learning and how their life is it's developing. So I won't stay behind, and I call it kind of like the ages of the caves, not staying way back there.
Stay behind. Don't stay behind.
Yes. So it's hard for some people. I can understand that, but that is why I love this company, because it takes patience for you to learn for yourself, and it takes patience for you to teach others, not to stay behind.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. Like, and for my generation, I mean, there's a lot of people my age and older that they don't want to change. And I tell them, you guys have to change because you're going to suffer the consequences.
Yes.
Times are changing. It's scary for a lot of people. These changes are scary. People get scared. Oh, and they think it's the end of the world, right? But it's not. It's just that every 20 years, I mean, there's always a change, and we always have to follow that change if we want to be successful. So I'm like, when I saw the vision too, I saw the vision 5 years ago in Atomy, because I used to sell insurance. And like I was telling you, Alfonso, the other day, there was this guy that came up and made a payment, and he said, we started talking, and he was saying, you know what, I work for this company that's making hundreds of robots. I didn't believe him. I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean robots? Like, yeah, we're working. But these robots are not going to come out maybe in 5, 10, 15 years. We don't know. It all depends. And everybody's going to be starting to use robots, and everything's going to change. Everybody's going to do online. So when I saw Atomy, I kind of like, you know what? Handhill Park talks about this new technology coming, all the new technology that Atomy is going to use, because we're still not even at the beginning of what's coming. I mean, there's a lot of things that are coming, the technology that Atomy is going to use. So that's why I was like, so I have to stay here. I have to keep going. It doesn't matter. I'm going to have patience. And even though with all these, any issues, whatever, I'm going to keep on going, because I right away saw the vision. And because when I saw Scan and Go and Sam's, I'm like, everything's coming to me. I mean, it's everything. Whereas we saw in Charles, there's a hospital, Charles Hospital here in Houston, and we saw robots, Children's Hospital. We saw a robot as a security in the parking lot. So we were like, wait a minute, everything's changing. So
I think like if you see it from a business point of view, it makes sense because you're reducing cost.
Yes.
Like you're reducing cost, and I mean we have to be realist. I mean, if we had an employee mentality, we would be pissed off. But to me, it's exciting to see all this, because people are doing this to reduce costs, first of all, from their companies. That means that people are going to be out of the jobs, and then also promotes accuracy. Like if you let's say you go to the bank, like tellers make mistakes because they're human. But if you
can discuss with them whatever issue is going on.
Yeah, but like most things now are like, you really, like, the only thing you need your bank for is to just make sure that number's displayed there. There's no physical money. So like in reality, like there's really no point, unless you have an issue where they did fraud or whatever. But even then, you could just submit a claim, online, and that's it. Your money's back in your account.
Yeah, so everything's becoming digital. Everything's on the touch of a finger.
To me, it's exciting to see that, because then these kind of prophecies, or whatever we want to call them, they're coming true. And it helps our cause to show people that having your own business and being your own boss. Because I feel that in Atomy, you go in stages where first you're kind of you're just trying to try the products, and then you try to be a consumer. Then you start loving the products, and you get convinced that this is good quality things, and things that are like the president says, high quality, low price. Then you try to recommend. That's when your business kind of starts growing. Then you go to a point where you're like, okay, I'm gonna transition because I see that I could make this happen. And when that happens, you start being your own boss, because you're in charge of your time.
Yes.
And you actually could do that change to a full-time thing. And when you do a full-time thing, you actually could teach that to others. And that's power. That's power, because these companies, they're trying to reduce costs to make more money themselves. But this helps us, so we could tell the people, hey, there's an opportunity where I could show you what I did, and you could do the same, and you could be in the same position as I am right now, without a need to have a job. Because if you have an employee mentality, you're always going to be looking for a job, and you're going to be disappointed. And a lot of people are going to be, stressed, because they're going to see that there's no opportunities out there. I was actually, not to hug the conversation, but I was listening to a video that said that back in the day, a person with a high school diploma in any state or any city could start working with just maybe a trade, and start building their life, buying a house, a car. Now you need a master's to have those things. So people are gonna start stretching like their money because they have to pay school, and they're gonna be disappointed because in maybe 10 years there's not gonna be any jobs.
And going back to Susana's point, which is really important, is people don't realize that exactly that for a business owner, you don't just cut labor, you also cut employee taxes. You cut liability because you, as an employer, you can get sued, right? You cut mistakes and you build efficiency. A robot can make a mistake, and all you have to do is reprogram it, and it starts to function correctly. You don't have to deal with laziness. You don't have to deal with punctuality. You don't have to deal with attitude, nothing, right? So we have to understand that this is going to happen, and there's always natural evolution, and the core of it is. That's why it says, you either change or you die. And that's in business, right? That's why businesses that never adapted to, social media, the internet, they're suffering, if not already broke and completely bankrupt now. If we're seeing that even the big companies, right, are like JCPenney, right, are suffering, are going bankrupt. I mean, what makes you think that you're not going to lose your job if they're going bankrupt because of the advancement in technology? So I think to both of your points, Jubitza and Susana, I think that the awesome thing about Atomy is that we have that ability to be able to work on the internet. We don't have the limitations even on countries, right? Which a lot of the industry does. On just sort of the streaming of the business and not having to start a new team. But the other big thing is. I think the most important thing is people's mentality on being proactive and not reactive. Because what happens? Most people are going to wait until they lose their job, and technology is advanced so much that now robots are fulfilling a lot of those jobs. And then they're going to be like, "Oh, now what am I going to do? Because what am I going to do? Go back to school?" And I think that's the vicious cycle. It's like I lose my job. What's the answer? Go back to school to get a degree in something, to go back and work for somebody else, right? And so it's just this like vicious cycle. And here, we have the ability to be free, right? To be free. But I think the key is you got to be proactive. So if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm gonna take it easy. Number one, time flies. Number two is if you want to set yourself up 5 years from now, you got to do things today, right? You can't react. I just read the news article that PepsiCo is laying 20,000 employees, and you're a PepsiCo employee, right? Because they're automizing everything. It's like you got to act now, and I think that's why as much information as such a great opportunity as people can have, you can have a gold mine. But if you don't just mentally react, snap out, be proactive, it doesn't matter. You're not gonna be able to advance in life. And I think that's what we're starting to see happening right before our eyes with AI.
It's gonna be like survival of like the fittest, right? Like the smart people, because the mentality of ownership. If you have the mentality of employee, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna suffer.
The system is already targeting people to do exactly what you just said, Alfonso. They're wanting them to go back to school. So you see ads, you see ads in your applications or the pages that you go into online, and they're asking you, they're popping up, they're asking you, you're an adult, you want to go back to school? And I started noticing that. I was like, Jesus, what is this? Why is it going on? Why adults going back to school? And I mean, you made a really clear point. It is what it is. I mean, people are going to lose a lot of jobs, and being at a point of a desperation, you're just going to have to go back either to school, and instead of being proactive and thinking on yourself, okay, mentality, like you said, Susana, your mentality of employment, it will not take you anywhere. It won't take you anywhere at all. It hasn't taken you anywhere in the last, I don't know, 15, 20, 30 years. I mean, it won't take you anywhere from this point on.
And it keeps you into debt.
Exactly.
Employment is the only thing employment gives you and makes you go towards, it's debt.
Yes.
It's only debt. That's it. Because you're never going to own a house. You're never going to own a car. You're always getting all these loans for everything. So it's going to be, I don't know if you guys have seen this game. I only saw it once and that's it. I only saw it because my kid was watching it. I was like, what are you watching? And he told me about this Squid Game. Have you heard of it?
Squid Games.
I've heard of it. Yeah, I've heard of
Wow,
it.
it's a terrible show, but it makes sense because if you analyze it, it talks about people in debt and whoever.
Yeah.
It's a survival game.
It's basically so Squid Games, not to give away for everybody, anybody that wants to see it, and it's basically people are desperate for money and they go into a game where they could actually lose their life. But at the end, if they come out successful at the end, they win a pot of like millions of dollars or millions of won because it's Korean.
Wow.
And you end up paying your debt. You become rich. But it's like, I don't know exactly how many people are in there, but at the end there's gonna be one.
Yeah, but what I mean, it's about what it meant, what it makes you understand about being in debt. So that's where it's like it's scary because that's how the world is. The world is in debt. Yeah, it's desperate.
They're not. They don't have anything to lose, So they go in there, and hoping that they come out successful. So and it just shows. I mean, just because you mentioned it, it just shows how Korean economy it's really bad. And it's not just Korea. It's most countries that are, like with low buying power and, low economies, third world countries. That's how they are. And they're desperate. And
everybody's in survival.
An opportunity like Atomy, it could change their lives just becoming a sales master.
Yeah.
Yes.
It just could improve 10 times.
That's the point where Alfonso said. That's being proactive at all. Definitely.
And it taps back to what we were talking about last week or in the last episode, that Atomy is so good that you could start today, build it, have that flat line for maybe like 6 months, a year, and then suddenly it just takes off.
Yes.
And I think that's important because I think Atomy accommodates to everybody's needs, and I think if you really need to go fast because you need results, which was my situation, I had no money when I really decided to start in the business. I had to create an income, and so I was like desperate.
You were reactive.
I was at that point. I was reactive. I was not proactive, even though I had the opportunity. Right, human nature. And so I was reactive, and because of that, the flip side is, it really lit a fire under me and really got me going. But it also allows where if you want to take your time, or you have a crazy lifestyle, and you don't have time, you can still do it. And that's the beauty, I think, about this business.
Yeah, when you have to replace that income little by little, it's gonna take you a while. I mean, even Sam, Sam says that, it took him so much for him to like adjust to the
in a way we may see it in ourselves that we were being reactive, but once you join the company, you're not being reactive at all. You're being proactive, because even though this company does not offer you gains right there then when you join, like many other companies do, you're setting your foot to see results within 5 years. So you're actually being proactive. I mean, even it's in a moment, it's in a crucial moment, even though it's in a very critical time in your life, depending on everyone's situation. It may seem like it's a reactive action, but actually meaning joining Atomy. I'm not saying joining any other company, because what we've seen in Atomy is just amazing. It's totally different.
Yes, I remember I remember when I started doing the presentation, when I would tell people, raise your hand, whoever's making 2,000 or maybe a little bit more. nobody raised the hand. Nobody raised their hand. And I thought they were making more than 2,000 a month. And I realized after that, when I talked to them, that a lot of people don't make more than $2,000. They make like 1,000 or a month. And I was 1,500. So I was, because my husband, thank God that he makes a little bit more than that. So I thought people were making at least more than 2,000. So when I told them about Atomy, that in Sales Master you make more than the minimum salary. So I was saying, you have hope here that if you get to auto sales master. The important thing is auto sales master, not just to hit sales master. To become auto sales master, you have an income of at least $2,000 a month minimum. Okay, because you can make more than that. So that's why I make people get excited to get to that position, because that's where the money starts. I mean, it starts you do get those checks at the beginning, but once you hit auto sales master, it's just like all the masters in Atomy tell you, once you hit auto sales master, you're never going to go back. Yes. You just keep on climbing, keep on making more and making more and making more. So it's a hope. Atomy is really hope for whatever's coming, And if we're not ready, Atomy is the best opportunity and the hope that we have for these times of change.
And I think that's also a really great strategy to points that Susana was making earlier, also about other countries, right, that do have a lot of needs. And that's why you see, countries like Colombia that in such a short period of time, they have over 300,000 members, right, in a very small period of time. But there's also bigger needs. But it really allows you to provide opportunity. And I think that's what feels good at the end of the day also, is that, at the same time that you are receiving a benefit, but realistically is you are gifting the opportunity for a person to completely change their finances, change their lives, and their kids and their grandkids. And I think that's the most beautiful thing about Atomy, is that we do have hope. We do have the best opportunity. We have the best structure. We have the best systems. And I think in the times that we're living in, with AI, with technology, which we know is evolving, but it brings uncertainty, right? We have the ability and a safeguard with Atomy for our family and for our future. And so,
what is AI? Maybe a lot of people don't understand.
AI is artificial intelligence.
Yes.
And so, things are evolving right before our eyes. And luckily, we don't get to stay behind. We're working in this awesome company. And I think that this is also why it's important to keep up with what's happening, because you can use that in your conversations, right? We can let people know, because there's some people that really don't see the news. They have no idea what's going on because of their busy lifestyle, or just frankly, because it's a lot of times a lot of negativity. And people don't want to surround themselves with that. But
correct.
And if you think about it, I mean, they were even saying that inflation, it's even more aggressive right now.
Yes.
Inflation. So if you need to kind of make up that money that they're taking from you, so this could be like a perfect business for you to make up that gap that you need, until you make it. It's so rewarding to see when you see people kind of making money. Like I see my aunt, I see it as an example, because right now she's an auto sales master, and when she was doing other businesses or other companies, she was always struggling. Even her husband was so negative about Atomy, because the first thing she said is like, "You're not gonna make any money, and you're gonna mess up my car." She was going back and forth. She's like, "How many cars are you gonna mess up while doing this business?"
Wow.
Because he knew that that's what happened with the other companies. But with Atomy, she's actually my uncle. He had a procedure done, and he had to stop working. She's paying the bills.
Wow.
She's paying the bills.
Amazing.
And you see her, when you see her, you would say, that lady's making $4,000 or $3,000 or whatever, and you wouldn't even think that she's capable of doing something like that. And when other people tell you from other companies, well, how much money are you making? and then you tell them something like that, they get amazed because they've never made a penny in those companies.
And even the housewife can make the business. That's like what you just said. You don't
So
believe.
imagine being an auto sales master with your job. Maybe you still have a job. You haven't really transitioned, to being a business owner. And if you're making, like you said, maybe you're making $2,000, but in Atomy you're making $4,000. That's $6,000. You could do a cushion. You could start building into a cushion, so you could quit your job. Have a year's worth of income, and then quit your job and then go full time and become a star master or just
Yes.
grow. And that's probably the goal of anybody that's an Atomy. If you think it right, if you plan it the correct way, you could end up replacing your job in a matter, really fast.
Yes.
So
It's just we just gotta just dedication and discipline and finding your why. I think when you find your why and you have your reasons
that's exactly, yes,
that's your drive.
Nothing
can stop you. And I always give the example: every human has the capability. Every person that ever steps foot into Atomy has the same amount of capability to have that determination. Because if I were to kidnap your grandchild or your son and tell you got to do X, Y, and Z, or else you're not getting him back, I guarantee you're going to do.
We'll do it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. So we have the
whatever it takes.
We just got to apply it and have that same level of determination. That's like no matter what. Right. There is no plan B. Like plan A is going to work and it's got to work. That's what makes the difference and really helps us keep going when we come across those obstacles and those difficult times, which we are going to come across. But it's that why. That's the engine, I feel.
Yes.
It's a commitment. It takes commitment for you to achieve whatever you want.
And you have to be desperate. Actually, I think it's in a period that says that you have to be desperate to do
at the end of
whatever you want to do. To do whatever you want to do, you have to be desperate, because if you're desperate, you're going to do whatever it takes to get where you want to be. So, and you want to end it, because laziness does not fit in anything. So you have to be really desperate to want your dream come true.
Yeah, that's why I heard this thing is like, how tired are you of being tired?
Yes.
Exactly. You gotta be tired of being tired of being tired.
Yes. The day you get tired of being tired,
yes,
that day you'll react and something might start.
That's right. Awesome. Well, I think that's good for today then, guys. Thank you, Jubitza, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Part of the conversation.
Privilege. Thank you.
Nancy, Susie, always, of course, a pleasure.
Thank
and
you.
I hope everybody watching us or listening to us has a fantastic rest of your day or night, whenever it is that you're listening to us. And until next time, we will see you in the next episode.
Be proud.